The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of my Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Yeah, I started from PBS Kids. What you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video. Okay, so I know a lot of people were saying that a lot of artists are gonna have to go back to figuring out ways on how to promote their own music because TikTok has been doubling down when it comes to the music that is put on that platform. That's why everybody been dancing to, like, you know, the YouTube creator music. But it's far more than just musicians. The entertainment industry as a whole has gotten lazy when it comes to marketing. And I want to talk about it. Okay, so I got my handy dandy notes right here on my tablet. Let's go ahead and begin. Hey y'all, it's Harriana. Hey y'all, it's Harriana and I'm back with another video. Hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Harriana and welcome back to The Pirate Ship, also known as Harry Hook's Pirate Ship. I am the captain, you are not my first mate. I don't got no first mate because you want to know why? Bring your ear closer to the speaker so you can hear me clearly. You hear me? Nobody's worthy to be the first mate, but hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Harriana and I like to make content based on nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I find within those spaces. Now today I want to talk about the subject of fan labor and why I feel like it's starting to have like a different meaning to it, and I slowly am starting to think fan labor is turning for the worse because the way I have been seeing marketing in the last few years, let's just say it is not the same kind of marketing that we saw up in the 2000s or the 2010s. In the 2020s, marketing has become very much lazy by the entertainment industry, and it's time that we, you know, have this discussion so we can pack it up and we start going, like, you know, the old school route of actually promoting your damn work, you know, doing it yourself. But before we get started, I just want to have a quick brief little announcement. I'm having a book discussion this Saturday. This video is going up on Friday, so it's going to be to tomorrow, and it's for a book me and my friend wrote together called Do Not Call Me Sis. It is a collection of personal essays about fandom, misogynoir, ableism, entertainment, and white feminism. If you guys are interested in coming, the link down below will be for the tickets. If you're on my Patreon, if you're on the 250s here and higher, you automatically get it for free. But if you're on a $1 tier, you just have to raise your tier or just get a ticket. And if you don't want to join the Patreon but you still want to come, the link to that will be down below. We can't wait to see you guys there because we have so much to discuss about this book right here, and we can't wait to talk about it with you all. Okay, now let's actually get back into what you came to this video for. Let's talk about fan labor. So the first things first, what exactly is fan labor? I'm trying to cover up this shirt I'm wearing, by the way, with my robe, because I used to be a big fan of this artist that's on it, and I don't listen to her no more, and I don't want y'all to see it. I just needed something clean to wear. Articles relating to fan labor, the creative activities engaged by fans, primarily those of various media properties or musical groups. These activities can include creation of written works, fiction, fan fiction, and review literature, visual or computer-assisted art, music, or applied arts and costuming. Now that you know what fan labor is, what are things that count as fan labor? And no, we can say this like the typical fan fictions, fan art, but also a lot of people don't seem to realize that AMVs, we used to call them AMVs back in the day, but we call them edits now. Those technically count as fan labor just as well. And that right there is where I am seeing a lot of this free promotion for television shows and cartoons and just whatever the fuck is coming from. But it's not even just that. It's also just creators in general making short form videos to songs. That is the one thing that a lot of people were talking about artists are depending a little bit too much on. But we also need to talk about the other side of that, where it's not just musicians, it is people that are actually making television shows, especially the stars within these series. Because somebody has said something, they were like, is it just me, or do actors and projects just not promote their shit no more? And I was like, no, they don't. They absolutely don't. getting lazy. And I know everybody be like, that's not their job to do this, yada yada yada. Baby, back in the day, if you actually paid attention to when, you know, press tours were a thing, the actor was there promoting this shit. So all right. I remember even when like it was season 2 of Legacies, like before like, you know, the panoramic had hit, there were people who came up to the studio simply to get footage for, you know, press to promote the series. And guess who they were using for that press? The actors. So it's not necessarily a secret that fan labor contributes to things becoming popular. I'm not even joking. If it wasn't for fandom, I most definitely would not know what JJK is. I would not know who the fuck Sukuna is or anything like that. The fan labor is what honestly got me into JJK. It was really y'all for the most part, but there are numerous occasions where this has happened, where we sit and we think about things that aren't super duper big and have like a giant production behind them like JJK. We think of more so independent productions like webtoons, like smaller crews and whatnot. But one of the bigger things I want to talk about from the past, and then one from the present, the big thing for the past one I want to talk about has to do, what is that gray thingy? Y'all know what it is, gray, Homestuck. I scream every time I see the fans at a convention. Homestuck is something that got its popularity based off of fan labor. To this day, fan labor still carries Homestuck, even though it has its own story and whatnot. If Homestuck did not have that big of a dedicated fan base, it would not be the pop culture phenomenon that it is now. But moving forward from Homestuck, we think more so of Hazbin Hotel. We think of, what's the other thing? Hell of a Boss. Listen, the cosplays that people do for them 2 shows be eating the fuck down. And I know a lot of people were talking about how them cosplaying at cons is what got other people to watch the series. And I noticed this is a big thing when it comes to the Great Amazing Digital Circus. Well, I was about to say the Great American Digital Circus. But the Great Amazing Digital Circus, a lot of people were talking about how they didn't know much about it until they started seeing fan art created of it and memes and whatever the fuck. So when it comes to smaller independent productions and whatnot, it is technically a big deal when it comes to fan labor, because fan labor is what promotes that said thing. Now moving forward, thinking about fan labor when it comes to things that actually have like, you know, a big ass production behind them, the fandom actually helps drive things and helps them get pushed out. And I'll take Moon Girl for example. Moon Girl is something that is seen to be more on the underrated side when it comes to like Walt Disney Animation. We know why. Happy Black History Month. But the fans, you know, creating fan art, doing cosplays, basically creating fan labor for this series is what's helping it get pushed out, and it's what's helping it get promoted. When it comes to series that are a bit more underrated on that aspect right there, we will be like, yeah, that right there is actually beneficial to the production, because when it comes to Moon Girl, they actually do promote the series. I remember when I was driving down the road on Candler Road. If you know what Candler Road is, you a real one. Comment down below if you know what Candler Road is. But I was driving down Candler Road and I saw like at the bus stop, there were Moon Girl posters right there. And even when I drive by, I see that there are actual promo out here for the series. I see that they actually are doing commercials for the show. I do see the promo around. So, you know, that work is actually put in there. That's why I don't necessarily get too irritated when I see that so much of the fandom helps drive this series. I'm not necessarily saying that fan labor is always a bad thing. Absolutely fucking not. I love fan labor, okay? Mainly when it is done ethically. When it gets to the point where it's becoming apparent that the people behind the production or the artist or the actor or whatever the fuck, they are depending on that fan labor instead of, you know, promoting the said thing themselves, that's when it becomes a bit of a problem. And I understand the importance of fans showing love for something that they like. I get that. But it gets to a point where people don't realize how much time and hard-on work and dedication it takes to make a lot of these things. The one big thing we gotta sit here and talk about is fan art. You really think that it takes like 5 minutes for somebody to draw something? No, it don't. Especially with the fan art that I see goes viral all the time. It is very much detailed. Obviously, you can tell that the person spent all day working on it. And a lot of times they get no type of repercussion repercussions. They get absolutely no type of repercussions. But you see the people that are working behind it, they, you know, most likely won't even repost it, which they are not obligated to. They don't have to do that. But they see that creating, you know, fan art for this said thing is helping it get more pushed out and pushed out and pushed out and pushed out, because there are so many people that have sat here and said that they have simply watched something because they have seen the fan art for it. There are people who have simply watched something simply because they have seen the cosplays for it. I have a friend that told me that she didn't know what Miraculous Ladybug was until she saw cosplays for it at the at a con that she was at. Speaking of Miraculous Ladybug, they are one of the biggest issues when it comes to them depending on fan labor to promote their set projects, because I will literally sit here and tell you that Miraculous Ladybug does not do that great of a job with promoting a damn show. I'm gonna say it, I don't care, go ahead and fight me. They don't. They depend on the fan labor to, you know, get the word out there. And it's become very much apparent and clear, because anytime people just be talking about shit that has to do with Miraculous Ladybug, oftentimes it don't come from the official Miraculous Ladybug team. And I'm gonna sit here and say this. People were telling me, like, when I do that panel for Miraculous Ladybug that I do at cons, I'm doing another one this year. It's going to be different, though. It's not going to be the same one that I've been doing. A lot of people were sitting here and telling me, because a lot of people show up to that damn panel. Like, let's go ahead and start that. A whole bunch of people show up, and people were telling me that, yeah, like, there's not really much of anything for Miraculous Ladybug at these conventions. So I'm glad to know that you did this panel. And when I do the panel, a whole bunch of people show up, this and that and the third. Miraculous Ladybug is something that, you know, it really blew up because of the fandom behind it, but also at the same time, the people behind that show, they got a little bit too comfortable with that, because it just got to the point where they just became very much lazy with its own marketing. Because I remember there was even a point when Miraculous Ladybug had Instagrams, like active Instagrams for their characters. They barely run them shits anymore. Like, I'm pretty sure them things ain't really been active since like the panoramic had first came in. So I'm like, what is going on? And I noticed that with the panoramic, you know, with the rise of, you know, social media becoming more so social media than it was back then, social media really was like the only way for a lot of people to promote their work, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Social media isn't bad. It just depends on how you're using it. But with the way how social media has been used to promote these works, it's gotten to the point where people are realizing that if they can get enough people to talk about this one thing, they feel as though they don't have to do much of the work at all in order for that to get better reach. Because I remember there's a video on this platform that I found, and I can't find it. If you know the name of it, please comment it down below. But it was a very well thought out video. But people have said something about how they started watching television shows and movies because of the edits that they would see for these shows. And I'm gonna be honest, that is part of the reason I found out about a lot of series from like back in the day, because I remember I found out about that Alvin and the Chipmunks cartoon because people used to make like AMVs with it all the time on YouTube. There are certain things that I have actually watched because people were making AMVs with it. There were episodes of Teen Titans that I have never seen because I saw people using them clips in AMVs. Winx Club is something that I know a lot of people were talking about they started to watch because they saw it in AMVs. And it's not even just shows getting promoted in AMVs. People are finding songs through AMVs too, because I know a lot of people said they never heard Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo until somebody made that Diary of a Wimpy Kid edit for it. That edit was iconic. And there's a whole list of songs that I can sit here and tell you that I would not know about if it weren't for freaking AMV. I wouldn't know Barbie Girl by Aqua if it weren't for the AMVs. I wouldn't know Every Time We Touch by Cascada if it weren't for the AMVs. I wouldn't know who Cascada is, period, if it weren't for AMVs. And Tata Young, I listen to her album like all the time. Sexy Naughty Bitchy, AMVs. We can thank AMVs for why we know that song. It's interesting to see how there are so many things out here that just don't get attention until the internet just kind of takes them and just kind of like memesifies them, because memes are something that drives a lot of this content just as well. Because I, for one, like many other people, were talking about how they wanted to get into JJK, and that's how a lot of people got into anime in general, simply because they wanted to be able to understand the memes that people were sharing about it. And I got a JJK spoiler today because of the memes, so And then it gets to that subject where people are talking about they're spending all this time making, like, you know, this fan labor. They're doing all of this fan labor with no return on the inside. And then, you know, people want to start monetizing. That's part of the reason why a lot of people who are fans start YouTube channels, because they are able to monetize their hobby doing this. That's why a lot of artists start Patreons. That's why a lot of artists have Ko-fis. This is why a lot of artists like take commissions and whatnot. People have found ways to make money off of this fan labor that they are making. And that's where I get into this one point that I've written right here. And then I am going to elaborate on that, because it's just a contribution to, like I said, social media literally changing the way we promote things in general. Because I'm going to talk about 106 in Park. I'm going to talk about TRL. I'm really just going to be talking about a lot of shows, even the news, I'd say, when it comes to actually, you know, getting your ass up and promoting this just as well. We can talk about the radio too just as well, because artists do not be going down to the radio station no more. And I say I will forever find it interesting when people want to bring up the subject of fan works and monetization, as if the celebrities themselves actually did much of anything when it came to promoting the project that they were in. Well, yes, I get that factor where they're talking about, yeah, you made this thing, yeah, you started this thing, but you're not really doing much of anything to promote that said thing that you was in. Like, baby, let's go there. Let's talk about that. We could talk about how, you know, times are changing and whatever the fuck, but I remember people were talking about how celebrities do not do mall tours anymore. And mall tours are low-key starting to be seen as like uncool or whatnot. But I was like, no, a mall tour was very much beneficial. It's like a con tour, if you ask me. Because I know a lot of people were telling me about how they go to like different conventions, and this is specifically artists. Artists I know that do like make fan art and whatnot. And I'm gonna shout him out. His name's Quentin. Quentin's art by Quentin, really great artist. I will have his art linked down below. I actually recently bought a shirt from him and it's super cute, but I would have his shop, his Instagram link down below if you guys are interested in his work. But basically, like, he is an independent artist. I know he works with his friend, and the best way he has been able to promote his art is by traveling all over the United States, going to different conventions, actually doing like this in-person marketing. While yes, the internet is great and that it is there and that it's accessible, I feel like a lot of people feel as though the internet is the only thing for them to, you know, promote themselves. I'm gonna be honest, I have gone to numerous conventions before and have met numerous people who ain't never met me. There are people who have came to my panels, I gave them like my business cards and whatnot, and I ended up getting a lot of new supporters actually going out in person and doing more in-person stuff. Because that's part of the reason why I've been wanting to do like more pop-up shops and whatnot, because while the internet is great, it really isn't the best way to, like, you know, market yourself. And I noticed that this is something that's really being done with small businesses more, and the bigger celebrities aren't necessarily doing this anymore. And I feel like part of the reason why a lot of more smaller creators are doing this now is because the big ones just don't feel the need to do it. They think if their song goes viral on social media, or they think their show is being talked about heavily and people are making edits and this and that and the third, they don't have to go around from place to place actually, you know, promoting that work. But they don't seem to realize that the social media is literally like a small bubble. We have social media, and you guys see the following that I have. I told you, I go out, I go to these conventions, and I meet so many people who ain't never seen me a day in their life. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just goes to show you that, like, yeah, you have this space, but like, oftentimes if you want to be able to get that support and be able to find people that you think would be interested in your craft, you're gonna have to go out and do these things. That's why I was talking about why the mall tour was so important. And it wasn't even just a mall tour just for artists. This is just like, you know, people in general, television shows, CDs, whatever, people that actually just get their ass up and actually go and do in-person events in order to connect with their community. Because somebody has said something about how not to give into like parasocial relationships, but if you feel more human to the audience, you're gonna be able to have more longevity. And I feel like that's part of the reason why so many people just get, like, you know, the stuff goes viral on social media, people obsess over it, and they just run off. And then the people just keep putting out new music, hoping that it goes viral, and then people just run off. I'm like, you actually have to, like, you know, build a foundation there. And I feel like foundation building is something that's not there no more. We need to bring back artist development. We really most definitely do. And it's not just artist development. I'm just sitting here talking about how people that just create in general, because the way people are just marketing their stuff, it's getting a bit lazy because they're depending too much on fan labor. While yes, an independent artist will tell you, yes, make sure you tag me in your photos if you take a picture with my art, this and that and the third, they know damn well that is just like extra support on their end. They're not fully going to sit here and depend on that fan labor, because they know at the end of the day that is not all they can do, because they have to still put in the work on their end. And there is one clothing brand that I noticed has gotten too dependent on fan labor. It is really starting to upset me because I really do like this brand. And it has to be IMG. Let's be honest, a whole bunch of people was not checking for IMG until Maddie Perez wore that purple outfit on Euphoria. IMG is a shop that basically sells kind of like Y2K inspired clothing. They sell like a lot of like, what's the word I'm looking for, like club style clothing and whatnot. Pretty much I like the clothes. I have quite a few pieces from IMG just as well, but I have started to slowly get irritated when I go through their Instagram page and I notice that it is just influencers. It's just influencers every time I fucking scroll. And it's like, where are you guys' official photo shoot pictures? Where are you guys' actual marketing? Where are you guys' promotion that y'all have done yourselves? Like, where exactly is this? Because you can't keep sitting here and just having your entire feed just be like, we sent this to this person, they take a picture, we repost fans, because they repost fans quite often that like take pictures in the clothes and whatnot. It's not necessarily a bad thing that they are doing that, but that is what's taking up a majority of their damn feed. And it's starting to slowly get concerning, because this is a problem that I had with Fenty, Savage X Fenty, because I noticed I started to go on the website and I noticed a lot of them pictures were not professional photo shoots. Them shits was pictures that what's the word I'm looking for? That just Instagram people were just, you know, taking and putting on the website. I'm just like, at a certain point, when are we just gonna realize that we need to do better on our end when it comes to promoting our own stuff? Like, when are we just gonna sit here and realize it? Because it's not just a problem with musicians, it's not just a problem with actors, it's not just a problem with filmmaking in general, it's a problem with entrepreneurship just as well, it's a problem with business owners. Like, when are we actually going to like realize that we can't keep depending on fan labor and that we still need to put in that work ourselves to promote our own thing? Fan labor isn't bad, but when you start to take advantage of it, that's when I start to side-eye that shit so much. And that's the reason why I don't really side-eye the Great American Digital Circus. I keep calling it the American Digital Circus, because while fan labor is something that has helped that production get pushed out much more, Glitch is still actually, you know, putting in the damn work. So yeah. That's all I want to say for this video. I just wanted to get on here and rant a little bit, because this wasn't about like one particular like person or whatnot. I saw a lot of people saying that because TikTok is getting rid of a lot of music on the platform, that a lot of people gonna be out of a job or whatever. And I was like, I don't necessarily think that these people are gonna be out of a job, but I really do see that people are starting to go the old school way with, you know, promoting their stuff and realizing that they just can't depend on social media all the time to get their work out there. Like, going out in person still counts. Mask up, by the way, if you're going to be doing that, because I still want to go out and do more pop-up shops and events like that, and I most definitely am going to be masking up, because, you know, Corona is still real, it still very much exists and whatnot. And I get it, I understand why a lot of people feel more comfortable like just promoting like through the internet and whatnot, because you gotta pay to promote in person, you gotta, you know, pay booking fees, you gotta pay table fees, travel fees, all of that jazz. But I feel like that factor right there is why we had a lot less public figures back in the day than we do now, mainly because there was just a lot more work that had to be put in when it came to artists. So yeah, that's just something I just had a thought about, just something I just wanted to speak about a little bit more. And that's one thing I really do appreciate about what Megan Thee Stallion has been doing recently. She has kind of been going like the old school way with promoting her new music. She's actually been calling into the radio station. And I was like, do people not realize how important it is to call into the radio station? There are artists that I did not know about until they called into like B103 or Hot 1079. And that's how I was able to, you know, discover them and hear their music and all of that. Because I found OMG Girls. That's how I found them, because they called in the B103 one day. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Thank you guys so much for watching. I didn't want this video to be long, and I didn't necessarily want this video to be like super duper structured either, because this is something that I could have made an hour-long video essay on. If you guys are interested in me going into a little bit more detail about, you know, how I feel like the entertainment industry and just the fashion industry in general takes advantage of, you know, band labor, comment down below. I'm genuinely curious. I might end up making a blog post about it to put on my website, hariana.com. I have a blog over there, by the way. You guys might like it. Check it out. I'll be opening my heart up over there. So yeah, I'm gonna shut up now. I'm just rambling. If you guys are interested in coming to the book discussion, the link to that will be down below. If you don't want to come to the book discussion but still want the book, the link to that will be down below to purchase just as well. We cannot wait to see you all there. The silk and bonnet that I have on my head, it's not available for sale yet, because y'all been asking me when the new bonnets come in. When is the bonnet restock coming? Hopefully April 5th. We're just gonna leave it at that. Don't forget to follow me on everything at Hariana, HARIYNA. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and have a great day, night, whatever time of the day that you're watching this. I'm just thankful that you watched it with the ads on. Alright, thank you. Goodbye.